42 million Americans welfare. You want to starve them, right? While simultaneously refusing to reopen the government and refusing to concede on offering 24 million Americans health care. Like, I cannot imagine a more insane scenario. If I saw this on a TV show, I would say, but yeah, let's get to it. Let's get to the news, baby. Democrats divided as Senate passes spending bill that could end the shutdown. We begin with can you match the camera, hers, to the light? No, I can't, because it's going to break the camera. Do you want me to break the camera? Do you want me to break the camera? If the answer is yes, I'll break it for you. And then you'll complain about how I broke the camera. All right, let's break the camera. All right. Seems like you guys want it. Here.
Breaking news as a bill to end the government shutdown finally heads to the House. The bill was approved last night in the Senate after 7 Democrats and 1 independent crossed party lines. The House could soon convene for the first time in months to vote on it. Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill. Nicole, good morning. How soon could this happen?
Hey, good morning.
I'm not going to do it.
Since today is a federal holiday and lawmakers need some more time to get back here to Washington, the soonest the House could vote would be tomorrow, now that the Senate's work is done.
The bill as amended is passed.
For the first time in more than a month, the Senate finally did something it hasn't been able to do: pass a bill to end the government shutdown.
This is a great victory for the American people, and it shows that the Senate can work.
The narrowly approved package will fund the government through January 30th, extend funding for SNAP or food assistance benefits for a full year, and reinstate federal workers who were laid off during the shutdown.
By the middle of the week, end of the week, government will be reopened. Air traffic controllers will get paid. The Capitol Police will finally get paid.
8 members of the Democratic caucus broke ranks to support the measure, including Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman, who spoke with CBS Mornings.
I think collectively within the caucus, they realized this has to end.
The vote sparked backlash among party rank and file, who were furious the deal did not include a guarantee to extend Affordable Care Act tax credits to combat spiking premiums. Some Democrats and progressive groups called on Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to resign.
It goes deeper than Schumer. It is no secret to anybody who follows these things that there is a division within the Democratic Party.
The divisions could complicate passage in the House, and some federal workers question whether the shutdown was worth it.
To shut down the government over subsidies that it seems like won't even be a part of the negotiated deal seems to me to be a wasted month.
A lot of the lawmakers involved feel that they have to be so loyal to their party, but they forget that they have to be loyal to the American people first.
President Trump said the bill is a good deal and he'll abide by it. He also said he's talking with Republicans about a potential health care fix, but hasn't offered many details. The Senate is expected to take up that issue next month. Gail?
So many things still to work out there. Nicole, thank you so much.
Bill as amended is passed.
Overnight, the Senate officially passing a bill to reopen the government, putting Congress on track to end the longest shutdown in American history.
I've already given my perspective on how stupid this is, and how much of a disastrous proposal this was. You know, my position on it is known. Have you seen Ezra Klein's take them out? Even Ezra Klein had like a little bit of criticism for it. It feels, right? Like, even he was just like, yeah, this is not the best thing, guys. What are we doing? Kind of felt like even Ezra Klein was just like, I don't know what you guys are doing. Harry Emden also, I bookmarked this already, had a Chuck Schumer take, okay? It seems like this is ripping the Democratic Party apart. I think this is good, okay? I think this is good. It's not a bad thing. The Democrats need to get their act in order. They need to be a normal, competent, good party, okay? They have to. There is no more time to go around. Anyway, Jon Stewart had a take on the Democrats fumbling the shutdown as well. And it's just like weird because there is definitely a meta in the party base for like Kamala dead enders in particular that I find really strange. Like, I can't tell if it's like astroturfed or I can't tell if it's like sincere, you know? But there are people, at least on Twitter, that I see saying stuff like, well, none of y'all voted for Kamala Harris. None of y'all voted. And now you're coming after, the Democrats again. Why don't you save your energy for the Republicans? And it's like, I am angry at the Republicans. That's why I'm angry at the centrist Democrats that gave a W to the Republicans. I don't understand it. Like, I just cannot. I've never encountered a person that has this opinion genuinely in the real world. And I'm sure it exists because any number of different stupid opinions exist in the real world. But this one is like alarming. It just sounds like, it just feels like a liberal psyop or something, because I don't understand how you are that devoid of self-reflection. I don't understand how you are that invested in a party that is actively harming you if you are a real person at all. It just does not make any sense to me. It does not make any sense to me whatsoever.
This has been a very long road, quite literally the longest shutdown in history.
I think there are a lot of people, if you go out in the real world, if you talk to liberals, if you go out door knocking, if you go out canvassing, I think you will find that a lot of people are desperately looking for an alternative, for a more robust response. A lot of liberals are agitated. A lot of liberals are looking for fighters. I don't think there are a lot of people out there running around thinking, no, things are amazing. The Democrats are doing great. I love that Chuck Schumer caved by getting 8 of the most protected Democrats with seniority to engage in this feckless cowardice, to make it look so stupid, to offer a fantastic W to the Republican Party at their weakest moment for no reason whatsoever.
I am very, very happy to be able to say that we are coming to the end.
The bill now heads to the House, members scrambling back to Washington after being out of town for more than 50 days.
You need to begin right now returning to the Hill. We have to do this as quickly as possible.
The House will hold its first round of votes Wednesday afternoon. But the deal leaving many Democrats outraged because it does nothing to address the expiring Obamacare subsidies that the party spent weeks holding out on as a precondition for reopening the government.
We're not going to support partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people.
Instead, the deal reached in the Senate comes with a promise from Republicans to hold a future vote on health care. Even Republicans acknowledging that's not going anywhere.
It seems like the health care bill that Democrats will be putting on the floor has a very low chance of getting any Republican support.
Yeah, I would say it won't get any.
So we asked Democratic senators why they decided to reopen the government without their key demand.
People are aware now that this is an issue and they know who's fighting for them. But it's time to end the suffering that people are feeling because of this government shutdown.
The impacts of the shutdown rippling across the country, from delayed food assistance to missed paychecks, and massive travel delays due to a shortage of air traffic controllers and TSA agents. The president calling for air traffic controllers who have been working without pay to be penalized if they haven't shown up for work. The president writing on social media that those who called out should leave their jobs with no payment or severance of any kind.
There's many different aspects to argue and criticize in this, but the one consistent thing that I cannot stand is how little the Republicans get penalized. Okay? I cannot stand it. Donald Trump, throughout this entire shutdown, did all of the wrong things. Like, the way I describe it is, if you wanted to present yourself as the villain who does not care about the working class at all, you would do what Donald Trump did. Okay? You would destroy the east wing of the White House and like build this grand ballroom and constantly talk about it. You would have these Gilded Age style lavish parties with the super wealthy mega donors, as you are simultaneously openly stating that you want to cut 42 million Americans' welfare. You want to starve them, right? While simultaneously refusing to reopen the government and refusing to concede on offering 24 million Americans health care. Like, I cannot imagine a more insane scenario. If I saw this on a TV show, I would say, if I saw this on a TV show, okay, I'd be like, this is too much. Nobody behaves like this. Like, this is the, some of you are going to die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make ass moment, you know? It's like, he's the monarch from Shrek. Like, this is unrealistic because of how in your face it is. You would see this in mostly like a cartoon or something. Like, you wouldn't even see this in an adult movie. Is it true you had to hand over your phone to the CCP police in Tiananmen Square? Yes. I have no phone now. This is they gave me a party official Huawei phone. I shouldn't be joking like this. Someone's gonna clip that and be like, "This is real. They did that." No, dude. No, no. Yeah, I'm in prison right now. This is a prison. Yeah, free upgrade, by the way. Dude, Huawei phones are so crazy. I don't understand. As I was saying, I don't understand how people looked at this dynamic. Now, this is from an earlier video, but the point still stands, right? I do not understand this dynamic at all. Like, do Republicans also, like Republican voters in general, like, do they just not have any self-interest at all? Are they just bots? Like, I know I've been shitting on the Democrats quite a bit, and I don't have a lot of smoke for the voters in general. I usually try to share, or I usually try to focus my animosity to those in positions of power, right? That's on principle what I believe. You know, be kind to people, be ruthless to systems. But there is a point where I'm just like, damn, man. Like, if you're a Republican voter, if you're like a reliable Republican Party voter, do you just not realize what's going on? Like, you're sitting in the cuck chair, man. This guy's pissing in your face, telling you it's raining, and you're just sitting there and taking it because you're thinking, well, at least the other guys are getting more piss in their face than I am. You know, I'm getting a little bit of dribble. They're getting pissed on even harder. So, hell yeah, brother. I just don't get it. Like, how do you not revolt? It kind of feels like the liberal base has more smoke for the institutional Democratic Party than the MAGA base has for what the Republican Party has become. I guess because Trump is supposed to be like the logical conclusion of the Tea Party movement. So they think this is their populist moment. But if the populist moment comes and all you are experiencing as a Republican voter, as a MAGA supporter, as a Trump loyalist is no answers for affordability and a billionaire that is so decadent that his behavior would look silly if you read it in a book or if you saw it in a movie, like gold-plated, gaudy-ass White House refurbs and revamps while his own base of support is starving. And you just don't even turn around and go, man, maybe I made the wrong decision here. Like, there's not a single moment where you just go, yeah, I think this guy sucks. Promises made, promises not kept. What are we doing? What are we doing? It makes no damn sense. That's the thing. If they admit they were wrong, then the libs were right. This is historic levels of in your face abundance for the super wealthy and starvation for the super poor. Okay? This is untenable. At least throughout history, this has been unsustainable, famously, okay? This has led to some relatively violent moments of instability, okay? Make fun of this tactic all you want, but it's literally worked for him for the last 10 years. I win, you lose, you're gay is actually a really good strategy when everyone is stupid and cruel. Yeah, Trump officials say that there's no affordability crisis. They're trying to do the vibe session. There are still people, and maybe they do it because they get paid to, so maybe it's moot, that approach the Trump machine with their mindset of like, okay, Here's how we get them. And you get him, and he says you didn't get me. In fact, you lose, and it works every time. And he has sucked for decades. This is a new behavior of Trump, and that's the kicker. Yeah, I mean, look, this is why part of my argument revolves around criticizing the Democrats, because if they were a serious party, if they were a competent opposition party, right, then they could at least like take advantage of this weakness. They could take advantage of this lack of interest in like solving some of these crises that Donald Trump won on, right? Affordability being the key one. But they're just not remotely invested in having a clear-cut vision for a better future and how they are going to do right by the voters, or even like showing how Donald Trump has actually lied, right? And that to me is so strange. It just doesn't make any sense. Also, what is happening here? Uh-oh. Hello? Am I still live? Can you guys still see me? I'm losing my my Chatterino is getting busted. It's like disconnecting and reconnecting. Uh-oh. Are frames dropping? What the heliante? You're good, we see you? Okay, it's just Chatterino then, huh? No F's on our side. Okay. All right, we're back. I mean, Chatterino's back. I don't know what happened. There was like a brief, he got busted for a second. Amored with looking good. Okay. I don't know if you noticed, but the light behind you is effing. Yes, it's a issue I am aware of, but I can't fix it for now. So, like, I don't know how much it will carry you to simply repeat over and over again the notion that, you know, things are not so great for me. I can't afford basic needs. Rent is constantly increasing and shit's just getting real bad. But at least there's a libtard out there that's getting owned, you know? Like, I don't know how much that can carry you, you know? How far will that carry you? Sounds good to me, Law. Like that level of, I don't know how you can have that level of spite for your fellow Americans. That mentality is ridiculous. Yeah, but it's a driving factor. It is at the heart of Trump's consistent and reliable base of support. Oh, at least like trans people are no longer able to compete in athletic endeavors. Oh, at least like undocumented migrants are being ripped away from their families, right? Like, oh, there's a unlimited cruelty to people that I've been told are my real enemies. So it's fine. Somewhere out there is a lib getting owned. I mean, is it worth it? Is that level of animosity and anger for those who have literally the same exact interests as you, your neighbors that go through the same financial struggles, the same financial hardships? Is it worth it to just brand them as the enemy, as a guy like this is just robbing you blind and laughing about it behind closed doors and sometimes on camera? This is what I asked the Republicans who were just like I want to understand, if you are pro-MAGA at this point and you're a regular ass dude, you're not like a millionaire, you're not a billionaire, right? And you're not like some Christian nationalist who believes falsely that Trump is going to bring about a positive change for you by implementing some kind of Christian Sharia, you know? Because that's not going to help you in the long run anyway, but like at least in the interim, you have falsely believed that he's going to do that, and that's a good thing, right? But if you're none of those guys, if you're just like a regular, you know, mechanic, and you're having a hard time, you have welfare, right? To a certain degree, you got some needs that are not being met. You have a hard time paying rent. You're terrified of having to go to the doctor because you're going to be saddled with medical debt, right? And you're just kind of floating around, looking at TikTok clips, on the Libs compilations and whatnot. And you voted for Donald Trump because you thought he had an affirmative vision, right? He had a vision for changing this country in a direction that you thought was going to be good. You were led to believe that if all of the, you're also Hispanic, let's say you're a Hispanic male, but all the other Hispanic men, the bad ones, will get deported, right? And you start seeing that happen, and it doesn't fix your financial predicament, right? You hate trans people. Let's say you think they're weird, you think they're gross, you think they're strange, you think they're like faking being trans, and that's in order to like win the middle school swim meet or something, or the high school swim meet, which is like an insane thing. But let's say you were led to believe that, right? And then Trump comes out and he's like, I've banned trans athletes, right? I've banned them from the NCAA. And you're like, hell yeah, sir. Thank God you did that. But your financial situation didn't change. As a matter of fact, it got worse. What do you do in that situation, right? What do you do? Like, I want to understand the mentality. And for the record, I saw this tweet as well. Someone just sent it to me and said, that's the guy. You're describing the guy. His name is Some Welder on Twitter. Irreverent sage, business owner, aviator, and dog stand. Not on your team. Patrick Henry was right. CV Passam Parabellum. Okay? And he goes, my health insurance just went up another $500 a month for the missus and me. $39,733 now for the year. Fuck your SNAP, fuck your EBT, and fuck your Obamacare subsidies. I wasn't put on this earth to pay your fucking bills. Brother, do you not know what the Democrats were trying to do? Like, I shit on them all the time, right? Like, I get mad at the Democrats all the time, but like, they were literally trying to avoid that thing. They were trying to avoid this happening to you. The people that are doing that to you is the Republican Party, the people that you voted for. How can you experience the fucking problem that these guys are seeking to solve, seeking to address, at least in the interim? Because I think, like, if I talk to this guy, I could be like, dude, you want free healthcare, right? Like, you don't want to pay 39 grand. You're not going to be taxed $39,000 if we have Medicare for all. Your tax liability is going to be lower than this, okay? Your tax liability is going to be lower than this. It's going to be lower than $39,000 that you pay for in fucking premiums, and you don't have any additional surprise billing in the aftermath of all of this. I mean, this blows my mind. Like, how do you live in this world? How can you not understand who is hurting you? And then you got people saying, I thought you were a welder and not some whiny little bitch. Be a man and pull yourself up by your bootstraps, bitch. That would be a lot easier to accomplish if I didn't have useless losers like you hanging off my bootstraps. Pay for your own shit. Trash. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, boomer. I already did that, renter. It's a shame you lack all empathy and compassion. You're a clear sign of exactly what's wrong in this country today. What does stealing the fruits of my labor at the point of a gun and redistributing them to others have to do with empathy and compassion? Like, this guy doesn't understand. He goes, fuck your Obamacare subsidies. You fucking moron. What do you mean, fuck your Obamacare subsidies? That's you. That's for you. I lived almost all my life in a rural area in Eastern Europe. What you have to understand is that people got used to being poor. They don't have hope of getting better, but the immediate hate that they have, they want to get resolved no matter what. Your healthcare is going up because your subsidies are going away, you idiot. I don't get subsidies and I never have. R word. You have to force these guys to have nice things. I'm with you. Don't tell these assholes what you're legislating. Just implement it against their will. At a certain point, you do have to move beyond it. You know? At a certain point, you do have to move beyond the notion that, like, that guy's fucking opinion matters. It doesn't, okay? He's going to sit there and suck it up, okay? You are going to advance the wishes of the broadest majority of voters, okay? You're going to give them health care, and he's just going to sit there and complain for, like, the first year or so and probably quietly recognize that things have gotten much better. That's it. You just have to force free healthcare on people like that. I don't think there's any way of snapping this guy out of his like angry, drunken stupor here. His position is so untenable. You know? It just does not make any fucking sense. I could not believe it. I could not believe this take, man, when I saw this. Zoe Rose Bryant talks about, I truly just cannot fathom why anyone would give a flying fuck about this. How does the sex marker on my passport affect anybody but me? We're on the verge of a recession. Families can't afford groceries and people are losing healthcare left and right. And this is your fucking focus. Yeah. The Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to block transgender and non-binary people from choosing passport sex markers that align with their gender identity. Who is this for? Like, at a certain point, you have to recognize. At a certain point, you have to fucking recognize that your shit is not all right. It's not good. It's not good at all. And it's getting worse. And it's because of your hyper investment in this like dumb, nonsensical bullshit that doesn't touch you at all that, you know, you kind of have to focus your priorities on things that actually matter. Yeah, there's also this. The U.S. Trump administration is reportedly working on 15-year car loans. U.S. President Donald Trump also posted yesterday regarding allowing 50-year mortgages, which is unironically the whole you will own nothing and be happy. Like, this man is the World Economic Forum guy. It turns out, as a neoliberal shill himself, it turns out the fucking billionaire guy has the exact same opinions as the other billionaire guys. Like, how is this any different than the are you ready for the new world order style attitude that these people used to fucking hate? This is it, right? I mean, this is the you will eat the bugs, you will own nothing, and you will be happy. This is it. Someone send me that fucking YouTube video, please. We got to watch it. We have to watch it real quick. Like, the car loan thing might not be real, but the 50-year mortgage is. This is it.
This is how Schwab and I'm here to say you must give more of your rights away. Your sacrifice is the only remedy for the real pandemic. Prepare an angrier world as Agenda 2030 is unfurled. You will eat the bugs, sing in the metaverse. You will comply and it will get worse. Are you ready for the new world order? No more human rights or borders. We own you. Problems then blame you.
That some mechanic guy you described is the average guy in the U.S. Republican think tanks pay millions to do focus groups so they can get away with their bullshit, and that guy will think it's good for him. Yeah, I mean, yes, Americans are some of the most propagandized people on the planet. Like, that's just what it is. It's one of the, I mean, by the way, that's a bop regardless. Like, you know, politics aside, that's just straight up a bop. It actually probably did so much good for the World Economic Forum. At least when I listened to it, I was like, well, I want this. Like, I am ready for the new world order. But you know, like, people think, people are so heavily propagandized against that they just unironically think like everyone else is fucked. Everyone else is having a much tougher go at it. And that they're, you know, in America, they're in the wealthiest nation on the planet. Like, they're doing fucking fantastic. It's the greatest nation on the planet. And it's like, and then you see shit like this. 70% of China's millennials are homeowners. How does that not piss you off? That's from 2017. I think the fact that these people exist makes perfect sense, to be honest. Trump has given his base just enough fuel with his relentless anti-immigrant agenda, combined with the culture war shit he's implementing. There's a reason why Trump won with deport everyone. They're eating the cats and dogs, and I literally don't have a plan for healthcare. It's the culture war. No, I know. And it is imperative upon the left position party in this country, the opposition party in this country, to actively move people's attention back to the material, right? To actually center the working class, to be unafraid to call things out like this. And you never actually fucking hear that. You never actually hear that from the Democrats, unfortunately. Like, at most, they will offer a little bit of lip service to like incremental gains And that's the reason why they keep losing. It's like, how do we still let these animals win any power in this fucking country, man? In PPP terms, China just surpassed the US years ago. In nominal terms, its GDP is around 80% of the US, but growing faster. More importantly, China leads the world in EVs, solar, shipbuilding, drones, AI hardware, steel, highways, railways, consumer electronics, dams, nuclear power, and increasingly semiconductors. The foundational physical technologies that actually make societies better. China's mastery of physical infrastructure means that cooperation and integration with the Chinese supply chain is the most practical path towards development for most countries. It's a no-brainer. Yeah. Democratic cowardice is a big part of the party's brand problem, by the way. A YouGov poll from February found most voters see Republicans as bold and aggressive, while Dems are perceived as sluggish, timid, and cowardly. People don't believe the Dems will fight for them. And why should they? Why should they? Why should they? They're right. For every Summer Lee, Congresswoman that I interviewed in the Capitol before coming to China, there are 10 Chuck Schumers. Old, decrepit, far too comfortable in their seat of power, far too invested in a world that doesn't exist anymore, a political game that has never really existed. They are just as delusional, if not more delusional, about the material realities in spite of their, liberal safeguarding status, as the anarchist who believes that there will be a revolution tomorrow, as the Marxist-Leninist vanguardist who believes that there is no necessity to propagandize to the working class, there's no necessity to bring up class consciousness in this country, and that we could foment socialist revolution tomorrow if it wasn't for the Democratic Party actively stopping it. Okay? That's it. They are just as oblivious to the needs of the working class or where they're at as the left comms out there. Bro, they tried to make a genocide acceptable, but they failed. That's another point. That is another point that I argue for as well. Strawman much. If you disagree with me, then you either self-ID as a left comm or you genuinely misunderstand the point I'm making. Hit dog hollers, no disrespect, but
While those who didn't take time off should get a bonus of $10,000.
We should not have had people leaving their jobs. And what I basically did is say the ones that stayed, of which there were a lot of them, I'm sending them a $10,000 bonus.
Where's that money coming from?
I don't know. I'll get it from someplace.
So President Trump did sign a bill into law back in 2019 that guarantees back pay for all federal workers. The president also says that he will abide by this deal reached in the Senate, which does include a provision that requires him to rehire the federal workers he fired during the shutdown. And of course, Americans out there are all asking the same question. When exactly is this government shutdown going to end? Well, again, the House expected to take up this measure tomorrow. Then it heads to the president's desk for his signature. But the impacts of this shutdown could last another week, especially for travel, Robin.
That cannot end soon enough. All right, Rachel, thank you.
Hey, welcome to the Daily Show.
All right, we're going to do the Daily Show, but before we do, I do want to cover Harry Emden talking about Chuck Schumer.
Democrats nationwide feeling about Chuck Schumer. I think the word of the day is terrible, 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 terrible. To quote another Charles Barkley when
What? Where was it? Oh, no, don't clap that guy. He said, I hear words, but all I see is a man living in his own delusions of grandeur and trying to pass it off to someone that lacks brain cells. Also, you never compare to Mark and Henry. What? Since when is critiquing support of a bourgeois party left comm? No. I'm talking about an outright refusal to recognize where the mass is, where the masses are, okay? Refusing to meet the working class and actively communicate with them to help them understand, to foment class consciousness, especially in a moment like this where the Democratic Party is for once finally being seen as a feckless institution that does not meet the demands that the public are making. Okay, Marxist-Leninists don't disagree with you on that point. I mean, I know. That's why I said if you exist outside of this construct, if you exist outside of this mentality, it's just not I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. I think you're insincere and unserious. You have to meet the people where they're at, and you have to educate them, and you have to help them come to these conclusions. Americans are the most propagandized people on the fucking planet, okay? And they think that they're actually free thinkers when they are far from it. Utilizing the existing constructs, utilizing the existing mass party that already has organs of communication, that already has an infrastructure to meet people where they're at, and just casting that aside to build class consciousness on your own is silly, especially because it means that you are unable to realize how this stuff looks to the average person, how socialism is treated by the average person. It's a boogeyman. It's scary. There's a lot more work to be done, is what I'm saying.
It comes to Chuck Schumer. Look at this. Least popular Dem Senate leader ever. I looked at all of the polls going all the way back since 1985. The one who has the lowest rating among Democrats is, in fact, Chuck Schumer. Look at this. He's underwater with Democrats. His own party, he's underwater. He's at -4 points. That makes him the least popular guy for a Dem Senate leader going all the way back since the mid-1980s at least.
Do you have a sense of why?
Why? It's because Democrats, they want a fighter. They want a fighter. That's why. Take a look here.
Like, this is the most basic argument that I have pushed for years now. And people said I was a spoiler, and they said that I was wrong for saying this. But this is what I've been fucking saying for years, and we have finally arrived at a place where the base is also demanding it loudly and proudly. And the Democrats are so weak at this moment that the establishment is completely unable to deal with this level of pushback from their own voters. They are completely incapable of casting aside the wishes of the liberal base of support. I have a theory that the average American, okay, the average American is much more progressive, much more open-minded, much more left curious than we give them credit for. Okay, I believe this in my heart. I believe this entirely. I believe this sincerely. But it is upon us to help them unlock that class consciousness, to guide them to the water of socialism. And I will exhaust all readily available options to do so until the time comes when there is a robust, self-identifying working class in this country. And I don't even think that it's just the Americans that are like this. I think every human being is like this. It's just that they have been effectively shut out from ever entertaining the notion that there is any sort of left alternative, any sort of socialist alternative. Okay? That's it.
Dems in Congress do too little to oppose Trump. During the first term, it was just 46% in 2017. That's the percentage of Democrats who said that the Dems...
Not saying you're doing social fascism or that the vanguard is ready, but the opportunity to build a third party with the average American right now than any other point in history. And I don't understand why we need the Democratic establishment anymore. No, you disagree vehemently and still appreciate your work. Great question. This is one that I actually talk about quite a bit. The reason why I say this is because beyond the demands that Americans have currently, right, of the Democratic Party, most Americans are antagonistic towards socialism and Marxism because they've been heavily propagandized against it. So in order to reach the masses, you have to work within the mass movement of liberalism, okay? You have to at least like start tackling the antagonistic, the automatic antagonism that the word socialism holds. That's why I say we're not there yet as far as like the viability of building a third party. I see the weakness of the Democratic Party as presenting an option because we don't have any recent history of successful socialist mobilization in this country. Recent history, I say, right? People do not think that this is a good thing still. They're heavily propagandized against it. So you have to work within the existing confines. This is not to say that there is no reason or that it's a bad thing to develop a viable third party. There might be a time when that will become a necessity, right? Because the Democratic Party has always been a liberal bourgeois party. I'm not opposed. That time is now is what a lot of people say. This is where we disagree, I think, because I don't see, and maybe it's because I'm too cynical, but I do not see, as it stands, a capacity to build a mass movement until you break the dam of Red Scare propaganda in this country. And the best possible way to do that, the way I see it, is by using the election machine, the turnout machine that already exists, that is still being controlled by liberal capitalist Democrats that are still trying to cling on to the levers of power within this party, but because they're so weak and so feeble and so old that their grasp upon it is weakening. So I don't think that there is any reason. I don't think that there's any reason not to entertain a third party. It's just that as it stands currently, like a lot of people say Zoran is the proof of what I'm saying. If you think that Zoran Mamdani as an independent socialist candidate would have been able to reach this level of success, I'm sorry, but you're not paying close attention to how elections work. And it's understandable because elections have failed you. So over the years, through the decades, you have grown more and more pessimistic about the two-party system in its entirety, and I am there as well. But Zoran Mamdani, in spite of his charisma, in spite of his turnout machine, would not have won as an independent socialist in New York City. Still much work to be done, because then he also needs to deliver on his agenda to show Americans paying attention, and maybe even everyone around the world is paying close attention to this race and the outcome of this race, that a better future is possible, right? But yeah, here's where the Democrats are still.
Congress are doing too little to oppose Donald Trump. Look at where we are now, 69%. That is an increase of, get this, 23 points. The super duper majority of Democrats believe that the Democrats in Congress are not doing enough to oppose Donald Trump. And that, of course, is a big, huge criticism of Chuck Schumer. And that is why he is underwater.
I knew you were going to do the dip. All right.
I always do the dip. I need my exercise in the morning.
There has been talks of a challenge to Schumer. What are you saying on that front?
What's next after the news today? After the news is done, we're going to go back to Tiananmen Square, and we're going to go to the Forbidden City, which is also very exciting.
Who looks like they're in place to do it?
Okay, so you see this opening slide here, and you see, of course, that Chuck Schumer is underwater with Democrats nationally. But of course, the ultimate way to get Chuck Schumer out of
How do you expect to awaken class consciousness and unite the working class when you're openly hostil to political activism with people who largely already share your worldview? Why can't we unite under a shared ideology and accept that we have separate roles to play in awakening people to depravity, the uniparty? I agree with you. I do agree with you. I don't know where this confusion is coming from.
Is to beat him in New York State. So how do New York State Democrats feel about Chuck Schumer? And take a look here, the net favorable among New York Democrats. Chuck Schumer is above water with the Democrats in his home state, but just by 16 points. Look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez running way ahead. If she decides to challenge Chuck Schumer and come 2028, she's got a real leg up on the competition. I dare say at this point she would be the favorite to beat him, which would be something that would just blow my mind, even just a few years ago, given that Chuck Schumer, of course, is a New York born bred type of guy.
Yeah, those are incredible.
Look at that, 30 points ahead. My goodness gracious.
That's a lot. All right, Harry Enton, you're always 100% ahead of the curve.
I
do.